This is very serious. Jesus is calling for you, only you. Important alert. Very bad news awaits today. If you ignore this, you will regret it and cry deeply. So listen to God now before it's too late. This is not a small warning, and it is not for everyone, it is for you. And if you feel your heart beating faster right now, it is because I am reaching for you before something painful unfolds in your day. Very bad news is circling around you like a dark cloud, and I am stepping in to stop it before it breaks over your head. So do not scroll past this, or treat it lightly, because your breakthrough and your protection are hidden in these words. If you believe that I am speaking to you at this exact moment, then write Amen in the comments as a sign that your spirit is awake and listening. I am telling you clearly that what is coming can be softened, delayed, or completely removed if you respond to me now with obedience and trust. When I say that Jesus is calling for you, I mean that my Son is standing in the gap for you today, because a decision you are about to make could open a door to regret, tears, and deep sorrow. The bad news is not random, and it is not fate. It is the result of paths that are crossing and voices that are influencing you in ways you do not fully see. I am interrupting your routine because I love you too much to let you walk blindly into something that will wound your heart. Do not take this lightly, because if you ignore this call, you will look back at this moment and wish you had listened with humility and faith. Right now, I need you to slow down and let these words sink into your spirit, because your safety today depends on discernment and not on speed. There is a conversation you were planning to have, a place you were planning to go, or a choice you were about to finalize. And that is where the shadow is waiting. I am not speaking to frighten you. I am speaking to shield you, because when I warn you, it means I am actively protecting you. If this warning touches your heart, press the like button on this video as an act of agreement and gratitude, because your agreement opens the door for my protection to move more freely in your life. You must understand that the seriousness of this moment is tied to your calling and not to your weakness. The enemy does not waste time on those who carry nothing, but you carry purpose, favor, and a future that threatens darkness. The bad news that awaits today is connected to distraction, misunderstanding, and emotional reaction. And if you respond in the flesh, you will create consequences that will be hard to undo. That is why I am asking you to listen until the end, because the guidance you need will unfold step by step and will guard you from deep regret. Jesus is calling for you because your heart has been heavy and you have been quietly carrying stress that no one else sees. You have been pretending to be strong while wrestling with private doubts, and those doubts are making you vulnerable to the wrong counsel. I am telling you plainly that someone around you does not see your destiny clearly, and their advice today could push you toward loss. This is the moment to pause, breathe, and ask me before you answer anyone or commit to anything. The bad news can turn into good if you allow me to lead you through this day with humility and patience. You are not abandoned, and you are not alone, but you are being tested in your ability to listen when the warning is uncomfortable. Many people ignore the quiet nudge of my spirit because it disrupts their plans, and later they cry because the outcome hurts more than the delay would have. I am giving you the chance to choose obedience over impulse, wisdom over pride, and peace over pressure. Do not think that this is about punishment, because I do not delight in your tears. I delight in your growth and your protection. The regret I mentioned is not because I want to see you suffer, but because I see what you cannot see from your limited view. There is a ripple effect attached to your actions today, and that ripple touches your finances, your relationships, and your emotional stability. If you slow down and let Jesus guide your words and your steps, that ripple will shift into blessing instead of pain. You have asked me for signs before, and this is one of them, clear and direct, without confusion. I am not hiding my voice from you. I am speaking plainly because the situation requires clarity and not mystery. Very bad news awaits, only if you rush ahead without prayer, without discernment, and without checking your spirit. If you trust that I am guarding you even now, then write 1111 in the comments as a declaration that you believe I am actively working on your behalf. As you move through this day, pay attention to any sudden pressure to decide quickly, because urgency that comes from fear is not from me. I bring urgency that carries peace, not panic, and you will know the difference if you stay close to me. If someone pushes you to act without giving you space to pray or reflect, that is your sign to step back. I am giving you spiritual eyes to see the trap before it closes, and spiritual ears to hear the whisper that says, wait. Jesus is calling for you because he intercedes for you with love that is deeper than your mistakes and stronger than your fears. He knows the places where you feel weak, and he is strengthening you right now so that you do not crumble under emotional pressure. The seriousness of this alert is matched by the seriousness of my commitment to protect you. You are chosen, you are favored, and you are watched over with care that never sleeps. What if a quick 7-second brain ritual could truly wipe out your debt and fill your life with unstoppable abundance? A shocking CIA leak has just revealed a 7-second ritual, now helping ordinary people clear debt and attract unlimited wealth. Verified by 4 top neuroscience labs, this easy at-home method is turning financial problems into dream lifestyles. New homes, cars, vacations, it's all happening for real people. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. I want you to remember that warnings are gifts when they come from me. They are not threats. They are lifelines thrown before the storm hits. If you listen carefully, you will sense a shift inside you, a calm determination to move differently today than you planned. That shift is my spirit guiding you away from the regret that was forming. What I began to reveal to you is unfolding even now, and I need you to remain attentive because the subtle moments of today will matter more than the obvious ones. The seriousness of this alert is not fading, it is sharpening, because the enemy often waits for you to relax before he moves. I am strengthening your spirit so that you do not drift back into carelessness after feeling a brief sense of relief. The call of Jesus over your life today is active, protective, and urgent, and you must stay aligned with it from morning until night. There is a pattern that has tried to repeat itself in your life, and today was positioned to continue that cycle. It is a pattern of reacting too quickly when you feel misunderstood or disrespected. It is a pattern of agreeing to things because you do not want conflict, even when your spirit feels uneasy. The very bad news that awaited you was tied to this pattern, because one emotional response could have ignited consequences that would linger for months. I am not exposing this to shame you, I am exposing it to free you. You are not weak for having patterns, but you must be willing to break them when I show them to you. The regret I warned about would have come from saying yes when you should have said wait, or from speaking harshly when you should have chosen silence. Jesus is calling you into maturity today, not into fear, and maturity will shield you from the trap that was set. Be careful with your words today, because your tongue carries power that you often underestimate. A single sentence spoken in frustration could fracture trust that took years to build. I am asking you to measure your responses, to breathe before you speak, and to invite me into every conversation. When you do this, the bad news that was forming will dissolve quietly without ever fully manifesting. You may feel tension rising around you, especially in environments where expectations are high. Do not interpret that tension as a sign that you must prove yourself immediately. I am your defender, and you do not need to fight battles that I have already chosen to handle for you. The seriousness of this moment is about restraint, because restraint will save you from tears that would have followed impulsive action. There is also a financial decision hovering near you, and it may look harmless on the surface. It could involve lending, borrowing, investing, or agreeing to a commitment that stretches you too thin. The bad news attached to it is not immediate loss, but long-term strain that would weigh heavily on your peace. I am asking you to pause before signing anything, before transferring anything, and before promising anything. If something feels rushed, it is not from me. I move with clarity and peace, not with pressure and anxiety. Jesus is calling you to trust that delay is sometimes protection in disguise. You may not see the full picture now, but I see every hidden detail, and I am steering you away from hidden pitfalls. I know that part of you is tired of being cautious, because you want progress and visible results. You have prayed for advancement, for open doors, and for recognition. That desire is not wrong, but timing is everything, and the wrong step at the wrong time can undo months of preparation. The seriousness of this alert is about preserving what you have already built, not about denying you growth. You are favored, and that favor attracts both opportunity and opposition. Do not assume that every opportunity is automatically a blessing. Some are tests disguised as breakthroughs, and only discernment will help you tell the difference. I am increasing your discernment today, so that you do not confuse temptation with promotion. There is also a relationship dynamic that needs your attention. Someone may try to pull you into gossip, criticism, or shared frustration about another person. If you participate even lightly, it will open a door to conflict that will circle back to you. The very bad news that awaited was tied to broken trust and emotional pain, and I am warning you so that you stay clean in your words and intentions. Choose kindness, even when it feels inconvenient. Choose silence when your ego wants to defend itself loudly. Choose prayer when your mind wants to replay every offense. These choices may feel small, but they will redirect the entire outcome of your day. Do not underestimate how much I am protecting you behind the scenes. Conversations are happening that you know nothing about, and I am softening hearts that could have hardened against you. The call of Jesus over your life today is like a shield around your mind, guarding you from reacting out of insecurity. If you remain calm and centered in me, what was meant to escalate will quietly fade. You have been under spiritual pressure recently, and that pressure was designed to wear down your confidence. The enemy hoped that you would act from exhaustion instead of wisdom. That is why this alert came with such intensity, because exhaustion makes people careless. I am renewing your strength right now so that you can respond with clarity instead of fatigue. Why is this 7-second CIA ritual spreading everywhere so fast? New CIA leaks have revealed a powerful brain ritual that triggers instant wealth flow. This 7-second technique, validated by 4 neuroscience labs, is rapidly changing lives. From crushing debt to dream vacations, this could be your shortcut to abundance. If you're seeing this, you're lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. Remember that I am not only warning you about external events, but about internal reactions. The battle today is as much within you as it is around you. If you conquer your impulses, you conquer the trap. If you surrender your emotions to me before they spill out, you shut the door on regret. There is a reason you felt drawn to these words instead of scrolling past them. That pull was not random curiosity, it was my spirit reaching you at the exact moment you needed direction. I am not late and I am not early, I am precise. The seriousness of this call matches the seriousness of the potential consequence, but it also matches the depth of my love for you. Very bad news was positioned like a domino, waiting for one small push. That push could have been a careless message sent in anger, a quick agreement made under pressure, or a step taken without prayer. But you are not powerless in this moment. You are aware now, and awareness changes everything. Jesus is calling you to lean into humility today. Humility will keep you from defending yourself unnecessarily. Humility will keep you from oversharing sensitive information. Humility will keep you from taking on burdens that were never assigned to you. You may notice that certain people test your patience more than usual today. That is not accidental. It is an opportunity for you to respond differently than you have before. When you choose patience over irritation, you rewrite the script that was set against you. I want you to speak to me quietly throughout this day. Even simple whispers in your heart will keep you aligned with my guidance. You do not need dramatic rituals or loud declarations. You need steady awareness that I am with you and leading you. The regret I warned about would have been deep because you care deeply. You are not indifferent, and that is why emotional mistakes hurt you more than they hurt others. I am guarding your sensitive heart from unnecessary wounds. I am protecting the relationships that matter to you from fractures that could have been avoided. Trust that. My warning is proof of my involvement in your life. I do not step in this clearly unless something truly matters. You matter, your future matters, and the people connected to you matter. That is why I am urging you to stay alert, grounded, and prayerful. As this day continues to unfold, I need you to stay spiritually awake because the danger I warned you about does not always disappear in a single moment. Sometimes it shifts form when it sees that you are alert. What could not reach you through haste may try to reach you through discouragement. That is why I am speaking again with clarity, because the seriousness of this call has not lessened. You may start to feel an emotional dip, a sudden heaviness that seems to come without a clear reason. Do not assume that this feeling is random or that it defines your reality. The very bad news that awaited you earlier was connected not only to external events, but to internal collapse. If your mood sinks deeply enough, you might begin to doubt yourself, question your worth, or make choices from a place of insecurity. I am guarding your mind right now because your thoughts are powerful. A single lie believed in a vulnerable moment can shape your decisions for weeks. Jesus is calling you to filter every thought today through truth instead of fear. If a thought produces panic, shame, or hopelessness, it is not from me. You have been carrying silent worries about your future, and today those worries may try to surface strongly. They may whisper that you are behind, that others are advancing faster, or that you have missed your chance. Those whispers are seeds of regret waiting to grow if you nurture them. I am asking you to reject comparison and cling to my timing. The seriousness of this alert is not only about avoiding one mistake, but about strengthening your spiritual posture. I am teaching you to respond instead of react. I am training you to consult me before you move, even in small things. These lessons will protect you far beyond today. There may also be a moment where you feel misunderstood by someone close to you. Their words might come out sharper than intended, or their tone might feel dismissive. The old version of you would respond immediately, defending yourself or withdrawing in hurt silence. But I am inviting you to pause, breathe, and remember that one heated exchange could snowball into deep regret. The bad news that was waiting earlier could have been triggered by wounded pride. Pride often disguises itself as self-respect, but it reacts too quickly. I am not asking you to accept disrespect. I am asking you to choose wisdom in how you respond. When you lower your voice instead of raising it, you disarm the tension that was trying to escalate. I want you to notice how often today you are given the chance to choose patience. Each time you choose it, You are stepping away from tears that would have followed conflict. Each time you resist the urge to over-explain yourself, you are preserving your peace. These are not small victories, they are spiritual defenses in action. There is also something you need to release mentally. You have been replaying a past mistake in your mind, almost as if punishing yourself quietly. That inner condemnation weakens your confidence and makes you vulnerable to making new errors. Jesus is calling you to accept forgiveness fully, because carrying guilt into today will distort your judgment. Could a hidden CIA discovery explain why so many are suddenly living in luxury? Secret CIA research has now come to light, revealing a brain-hacking ritual that draws in wealth like magic. It only takes 7 seconds, you can do it at home, and it's supported by 4 neuroscience labs. People are ditching debt and living in luxury right now. But this information won't stay online for long. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted. If you walk in shame, you will overcompensate. You may try too hard to please someone, to prove yourself, or to secure approval. That overcompensation could lead you straight into the regret I warned about. I am lifting shame off your shoulders so that you move from strength instead of insecurity. Be mindful of sudden opportunities that seem to promise quick relief from your stress. They may appear as shortcuts, fast solutions, or easy escapes. Not every open door is mine, and some doors lead to rooms filled with hidden costs. Ask me before stepping through anything that looks too easy. You might also feel tempted to vent your frustrations publicly or digitally. A message typed in emotion can travel farther than you expect and return with consequences. Silence is sometimes your greatest shield. What you choose not to say today may protect your reputation tomorrow. I am aware that you are tired of constant vigilance. You long for a day where you can relax without feeling like something might go wrong. That day will come. But today is about awareness, because something significant is being redirected. When you sense that extra caution in your spirit, it is my hand steadying you. Do not interpret this seriousness as a sign that disaster is guaranteed. It is a sign that intervention is active. I do not warn without also empowering. The same intensity that signals danger also signals my deep involvement in your protection. There is a conversation you may need to postpone. It is not avoidance, it is wisdom. If emotions are high or details are unclear, waiting is not weakness. Waiting can prevent misunderstandings that would have spiraled into sorrow. You are stronger than you realize. You have grown from past mistakes, even if you still feel embarrassed by them. Today is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are not the same person you once were. The regret that could have formed will be replaced with quiet pride in your restraint. Pay attention to how your body reacts in certain situations today. If your chest tightens or your stomach knots, do not ignore it. I often use those subtle signals to guide you away from what is unhealthy. Your spirit and body work together when you are aligned with me. The seriousness of this call is also connected to your long-term destiny. One unnecessary conflict or poor decision could delay something you have been praying for. I am not threatening you. I am informing you of how interconnected your choices are. Small steps today influence larger doors tomorrow. Jesus is calling you not only away from danger, but toward deeper trust. He wants you to see that you are never navigating alone. Even when you feel independent and self-sufficient, my guidance is the unseen foundation beneath you. Lean into that guidance instead of relying solely on your own reasoning. There may be a moment later when you feel a wave of relief and think the warning is no longer relevant. Stay steady. Protection continues even when tension decreases. Consistency in your attitude will seal the victory that began when you first chose to listen. You are not fragile, but you are human, and humans need reminders. This alert is a reminder that you are deeply valued. I do not let those I love wander into traps without speaking first. Your tears matter to me, and that is why I am determined to prevent unnecessary ones. As the hours pass, you will sense subtle shifts. Situations that could have escalated will remain calm. Words that could have wounded will stay unspoken. Decisions that could have burdened you will be delayed or adjusted. Jesus is calling you because your sensitivity is a gift, not a weakness. You often sense shifts before they become visible, yet you sometimes ignore those nudges because you do not want to seem overly cautious. That hesitation to trust your discernment is what could have opened the door to regret. I am strengthening your confidence in hearing me, so that you no longer second-guess the quiet warnings I place in your heart. There is an area of your life where you have been tolerating something that quietly drains you. It may be a habit, a connection, or a routine that seems harmless but slowly erodes your peace. The bad news attached to today was connected to this slow erosion reaching a breaking point. If you had continued without awareness, the pressure would have burst in a way that left you overwhelmed and tearful. I am showing you that prevention is greater than repair. It is easier to step back now than to rebuild later. When I say this is very serious, it is because I am inviting you to break cycles before they become crises. You are not meant to constantly recover from damage when you can instead avoid it through obedience. Look closely at your boundaries. Have you allowed others to cross lines that you once guarded firmly? Have you silenced your discomfort because you did not want to disappoint someone? Those small compromises accumulate over time, and today was a day where accumulation could have turned into collapse. I am not asking you to become cold or distant. I am asking you to be wise and self-aware. Jesus is calling you to stand in quiet authority over your own choices. When you honor the limits I have placed around your heart, you preserve your joy and your clarity. There is also a temptation to seek validation from someone who does not fully see your worth. You may find yourself wanting their approval more than you want my direction. That desire for validation could push you to say or do something that compromises your integrity. The regret I warned about would have come from betraying your own values just to feel accepted. You are already accepted by me. You are already seen and valued in ways no human can match. When you internalize that truth, you stop chasing applause that fades quickly. Today is a day to root your identity deeper in me, so that external reactions do not control your decisions. Be especially careful with promises today. You may feel inclined to commit to something out of enthusiasm or guilt. If you promise more than you can realistically give, the pressure will return as stress and frustration. I am guiding you to under-promise and over-deliver, not the other way around. Have you heard about the top-secret ritual the government wants to keep hidden? Imagine if a single 7-second ritual could clear your debts and draw wealth to you effortlessly. A leaked CIA report and 4 leading neuroscience labs confirm it's not a myth. Struggling families are moving into dream homes with total peace of mind. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. The seriousness of this alert also touches your spiritual discipline. You have sensed a slight drift in your focus recently. Distractions have been louder than your quiet time with me. That drift does not make you a failure, but it makes you more vulnerable to confusion. When Jesus calls you, he calls you back to intimacy, not just obedience. The protection I offer flows from relationship. If you try to navigate today purely with logic and not with prayer, you will miss subtle guidance. Slow your pace internally, even if your schedule is full. There is a conversation you need to have with yourself honestly. Are you acting from fear of loss or from faith in my provision? Fear of loss pushes you to cling too tightly, to control outcomes, and to react defensively. Faith allows you to step back, trust my timing, and move with calm assurance. Very bad news was forming around a fear-based reaction. You might have tried to secure something prematurely because you were afraid it would slip away. That premature action would have complicated what I am already arranging for you. I am asking you to trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. You may also experience moments today where you feel unusually watched or evaluated. Do not let that feeling push you into performance mode. When you perform for people, you exhaust yourself and distort your authenticity. Remain grounded in who you are in me, not in who you think others expect you to be. I want you to notice how many times today you choose calm instead of chaos. Each calm response is a quiet victory. Each restrained word is a step away from regret. You are rewriting your story in real time by aligning with my warning. The seriousness of this call is a reflection of the significance of your path. If your life had no impact, there would be no reason for such detailed protection. But your decisions influence more than just you. They ripple into your family, your work, and your future opportunities. Jesus is calling you because he intercedes for you constantly. He sees the angles of attack that you do not. He steps into moments before they fully materialize. When you listen to him, you are participating in your own protection. There is also healing happening beneath the surface today. Old emotional wounds are being exposed gently so they can be cleansed instead of triggered. If you feel unexpected emotion rising, do not suppress it harshly. Bring it to me in honesty, and let me steady you before you respond outwardly. You are not fragile, but you are growing. Growth often feels uncomfortable because it requires new responses. Today you are practicing new patterns of speech, thought, and decision-making. Those new patterns will guard you from the kind of regret that once seemed unavoidable. As evening approaches, you may reflect on situations that could have gone differently. You might realize that you were calmer than usual, slower to react, quicker to pray. That awareness is evidence that my warning was not wasted. You cooperated with grace instead of resisting it. The bad news that awaited is losing its grip because you chose awareness. What was forming as a chain reaction has been interrupted. Instead of crying deeply, you will rest more peacefully than you expected. Instead of regret, there will be gratitude. Understand this clearly. My seriousness does not come from anger but from love. I am protective because you are precious to me. I am direct because time sometimes requires clarity. There is something shifting inside you even now. You are beginning to realize that not every emotion deserves expression and not every opportunity deserves acceptance. This understanding is protecting you more than you can see. Jesus is calling you into this deeper maturity because your future requires stability, not impulsiveness. You may notice that certain temptations feel weaker today. That is not coincidence. When you respond to my warning with humility, you weaken the power of what was forming against you. The regret that once seemed close is now fading because you are choosing alignment over impulse. Still, I need you to remain steady. Sometimes when immediate danger passes, people relax too quickly and fall into a different trap. Stay grounded in prayer, even in quiet moments. The enemy prefers subtle distractions over obvious attacks when he realizes you are alert. There is a particular area of your life where impatience has been your silent struggle. You have waited longer than you expected for a door to open. That waiting has created frustration that occasionally leaks into your decisions. The bad news that awaited today was connected to acting out of that frustration instead of faith. I am asking you to reframe your waiting. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. The door that I open for you will not require you to compromise your peace to walk through it. If something demands anxiety, secrecy, or rushed agreement, it is not the blessing you have been praying for. You are also learning something important about silence. Silence is not weakness when it is chosen with wisdom. There were words you could have spoken today that would have satisfied your pride but damaged your relationships. By holding them back, you preserved more than you realize. The seriousness of this alert is teaching you to respect the long-term impact of short-term reactions. A few seconds of uncontrolled emotion can undo years of careful building, but a few seconds of restraint can preserve years of trust. You are choosing preservation, and that choice is powerful. Jesus is calling you to strengthen your inner discipline. Discipline is not about harsh self-control, it is about consistent alignment. When your emotions surge, discipline reminds you to consult me first. When your ego rises, discipline reminds you of humility. There may be moments where you feel misunderstood even after you have chosen calm. That can be discouraging. You might think that your restraint went unnoticed, but understand this clearly. I see every quiet victory, even when others do not. Could the CIA really be hiding a 7-second ritual that turns money struggles into fortune? A covert CIA finding exposes a strange 7-second ritual that activates money-attracting brainwaves on autopilot. Supported by science and 4 elite labs, this home ritual is turning struggling people into dream lifestyle owners. But this page may disappear soon. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted from the internet forever. Very bad news was forming around misunderstanding that would have escalated. Because you paused, the escalation lost momentum. Even if tension still lingers slightly, it will not explode the way it could have. You are experiencing the quiet power of obedience. I also want you to consider your physical energy. Fatigue can blur discernment. If you feel drained, do not push yourself into serious decisions. Rest when you can, even if only briefly, because exhaustion makes you vulnerable to poor judgment. There is a subtle shift happening in your confidence. You are beginning to trust your spiritual instincts more than outside noise. That trust is crucial for where you are headed. The future I have prepared for you requires the ability to say no without guilt. The seriousness of this call is connected to your calling. You carry influence, even if it feels small right now. Your words shape environments. Your choices inspire or discourage others quietly. Protecting your integrity protects those connected to you. There is also healing unfolding in your self-perception. You have sometimes believed that you are prone to mistakes. That belief has made you anxious about your own decisions. Today you are seeing that you can choose differently. You are not destined to repeat old errors. You are not trapped in patterns you once struggled with. Each time you listen instead of react, you prove to yourself that growth is real. That realization strengthens your faith in me and in yourself. Jesus is calling you into deeper reliance, not shallow awareness. This is not about surviving one difficult day. It is about building a lifestyle of listening. When listening becomes your habit, regret loses its power over you. There may be small triggers that still attempt to provoke you. A dismissive tone, an unexpected demand, a financial pressure. These are tests of the posture you are developing. Respond slowly and with intention. The bad news that awaited earlier is being dismantled layer by layer. Some parts dissolved immediately when you first chose to listen. Other parts are dissolving as you continue to walk carefully. Protection is often progressive. I want you to see how my seriousness was matched by my tenderness. I did not simply warn you and leave you anxious. I walked you through the reasons, the patterns, the internal triggers. That is how I guide those I love. You are not being monitored for failure. You are being guided towards stability. I am not waiting for you to slip so that I can correct you harshly. I am walking beside you so that you do not slip at all. As you reflect on your reactions today, you may notice subtle pride trying to whisper that you handled everything alone. Remember that it was my spirit nudging you. Gratitude will keep you humble and receptive for future guidance. The seriousness of this message will echo in your memory later, not as fear, but as wisdom. You will begin to sense warnings earlier next time. You will trust those early nudges more confidently. Very bad news was not your destiny. It was a possibility. Destiny is shaped by alignment, and you chose alignment. That choice matters more than you know. Carry this lesson into tomorrow and beyond. Let today be remembered as the day you realize that obedience is protection. Let it be the day you stopped underestimating how much your calm responses shape your future. There are crossroads in life that do not look dramatic. They look ordinary, almost invisible. A tone of voice, a delayed response, a small financial risk, a private thought entertained too long. Yet those small hinges can swing large doors. Today was one of those hinges. You may not fully see how close you were to entangling yourself in unnecessary pain. A single reaction could have shifted the atmosphere of your home. A single careless agreement could have strained your resources. A single emotional outburst could have bruised a relationship that has been quietly holding you up. That is why I said this is very serious. You often think seriousness only applies to large, visible disasters. But I see the invisible threads that connect small choices to large outcomes. I see how one moment of pride can trigger weeks of tension. I see how one impulsive decision can create months of regret. And because I see it, I speak. Jesus is calling you, not because you are in constant danger, but because you are in constant growth. Growth requires correction before crisis. You are being elevated in wisdom. You are being trained to respond differently than you used to. There was a version of you who would have reacted without thinking. That version felt justified in every emotional surge. That version believed that immediate expression was strength, but you are not that person anymore. You are learning restraint. You are learning timing. You are learning that silence can be louder than argument. This shift is protecting your future. Very bad news would have unfolded slowly. It would not have struck like lightning. It would have crept in through tension, through misunderstandings, through subtle misalignment. You might not even have realized at first that you had stepped into something harmful. Then one day you would have looked back and asked why you did not pause. That pause is what you chose. You need to understand how powerful that is. There are people who never listen when warned. They brush it aside. They assume they can handle everything with their own strength. They move forward in stubborn confidence. You did not do that. You slowed down. You reflected. You adjusted. That adjustment redirected more than one outcome. There is something else I want you to see clearly. The seriousness of my voice is always matched by my protection. I never alert you without also strengthening you. I never warn you without also providing wisdom. Why are so many claiming this CIA ritual changed their life in just 7 seconds? This leaked CIA ritual is the real deal, and it's potent. A 7-second brainwave hack, backed by 4 neuroscience labs, is helping regular people leap from broke to abundant. Dream homes, cars, trips, it's all within reach. But this video could disappear any time from the internet. So click the link in the description and comments now to see it before it's gone forever. When I said that regret and deep tears could follow, I was not threatening you. I was showing you what was possible so you could choose differently. And you did. Now you are standing in a space where harm was avoided. You may not feel fireworks or dramatic relief. You may simply feel calm, but that calm is evidence that something heavy was dismantled. Jesus is calling you deeper now, not just to avoid danger, but to walk in steadiness. Steadiness will become your new strength. Others may still react quickly. Others may still operate from pride or insecurity. You do not have to join them. You are being set apart in how you handle pressure. There will still be moments that test you. There will still be days where emotions rise unexpectedly. But this experience is building a foundation inside you. You now know that a warning can save you from sorrow. You now know that listening changes outcomes. You now know that protection often feels like inconvenience in the moment. There may have been something you wanted to say today that you swallowed. There may have been a step you wanted to take that you postponed. There may have been a risk you attempted to accept that you reconsidered. Those quiet choices are shaping your life more than bold declarations ever could. Very bad news was not your destiny because obedience shifted it. Let this strengthen your trust in me. I am not distant from your daily life. I am present in the small details. I care about your tone, your timing, your commitments, your inner thoughts. Not because I am controlling, but because I see how those small details accumulate into large consequences. The enemy prefers you distracted and rushed. He prefers you tired and reactive. He prefers you acting without reflection. But when you listen, his strategies lose momentum. There is also something important about your confidence that I want to restore fully. You may have doubted your ability to make wise decisions in the past. You may have felt like you often learned lessons the hard way. Today proves something different. You can listen. You can adjust. You can grow. You are not doomed to repeat old cycles. The seriousness of this moment is actually a celebration of your maturity. You handled something differently. You paused when you once would have pushed. You thought when you once would have reacted. That is progress. Jesus is calling you not only away from danger, but toward alignment. Alignment feels peaceful. It feels steady. It feels clear. When you are aligned, you do not need to force outcomes. You do not need to defend yourself aggressively. You do not need to chase validation. You simply walk. There is also a subtle blessing hidden in this alert. Because you listened, you strengthened your spiritual sensitivity. The next time I whisper, you will recognize my voice faster. The next time tension rises, you will identify the trap earlier. That is how wisdom compounds. You avoided tears today, but more than that, you built discernment for tomorrow. Very bad news loses power when awareness increases. Remember this clearly. I am not interested in scaring you into obedience. I am interested in forming you into someone who moves with clarity and calm authority. You are favored, but favor does not eliminate responsibility. Favor gives you access to guidance, and when you use that guidance, you walk differently. There will come a time when you look back at this season and realize how many unseen dangers were quietly removed. You will understand that seriousness was not drama, it was intervention. The call of Jesus over your life is not temporary, it is continuous. He calls you in the morning and in the tension of the afternoon. He calls you when you are confident and when you are uncertain. He calls because you matter. You were never meant to cry deeply over preventable mistakes. You were never meant to carry regret that could have been avoided. You were never meant to navigate blindly. This alert was proof of my closeness. Let that truth settle inside you. You are not alone in your decisions. You are not abandoned in your pressure. You are not unprotected in your vulnerability. Very bad news was not random chaos floating toward you, it was connected to timing. There are moments when your emotions, your environment, and outside pressures align in a way that increases vulnerability. Today was one of those alignments, and without awareness, you could have stepped into something that drained your peace deeply. But you did not. You chose to slow down. You chose to think. You chose to check your spirit instead of reacting from impulse. That single shift altered the atmosphere around you more than you can see. I want you to reflect on how different this day might have looked if you had ignored the warning. Imagine responding sharply to someone who was already defensive. Imagine agreeing to a commitment that stretched you beyond your limits. Imagine venting frustration in a way that spread further than you intended. The ripple effect would have been real. Regret often begins quietly. It does not announce itself immediately. It starts as a small discomfort after a decision, then grows into realization. That realization can bring tears because you see clearly what could have been avoided. What's really behind the 7-second brain technique that's making headlines and new millionaires? A stunning CIA leak has just revealed a 7-second brain ritual that's helping normal people wipe out debt and attract serious wealth. With proof from 4 neuroscience labs, this at-home method is turning financial stress into dream living. Homes, cars, vacations, it's all happening. But the government could take this down at any time. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. That is what I protected you from. The seriousness of my voice was the sound of intervention. You need to know something about yourself. You are not careless by nature. You are passionate. You care deeply. And when passionate people feel pressure, they can sometimes react strongly. That strength is beautiful when guided, but dangerous when untethered. Jesus is calling you into a new kind of strength. Not loud strength, not reactive strength, but controlled strength. Controlled strength protects relationships. Controlled strength protects opportunities. Controlled strength protects your own peace. You are learning to master your reactions instead of being mastered by them. There may still be a small voice inside you wondering if the danger was exaggerated. That doubt is natural. When harm is prevented, it can feel invisible. But do not mistake absence of disaster for absence of danger. Many storms are redirected before they reach the shore. I want you to consider how many times in your life you learned through pain. How many lessons came after tears? How many realizations came after something had already broken? Today was different. Today you learned before breaking. That is growth. Very bad news loses power when wisdom is embraced early. You are stepping into a pattern of prevention instead of repair. That shift will change your life over time. The seriousness of this moment is also shaping your confidence in me. When you see that listening actually leads to peace, trust deepens. When you see that obedience avoids sorrow, faith strengthens. You are building evidence inside your own experience that my guidance is trustworthy. That evidence will matter in future decisions. There will be larger crossroads ahead of you, bigger choices, greater opportunities, higher pressure. What you practice today will prepare you for those moments. Small obedience builds capacity for large obedience. Jesus is not calling you only when danger is near. He is calling you into consistent closeness. Closeness sharpens discernment. Closeness steadies your emotions. The more you stay near, the less dramatic the warnings need to be. I also want to speak to the part of you that sometimes fears making the wrong move. You do not have to live in constant anxiety about mistakes. My guidance is not fragile. If you miss a whisper, I will speak again. If you hesitate, I will redirect. But when you respond quickly and humbly, the path becomes smoother. You may notice that your interactions today felt slightly different. Maybe a conversation that could have escalated stayed calm. Maybe a situation that could have pressured you eased unexpectedly. That is not coincidence. When you align with wisdom, environments shift. Very bad news often depends on escalation. Escalation requires reaction. Without reaction, it loses fuel. You withheld fuel. There is something powerful about that. I want you to also recognize how your emotional awareness has increased. You felt the urge to respond in certain moments. You sensed tension. You noticed subtle triggers. Instead of being controlled by them, you observed them. Observation creates space. Space allows choice. Choice changes outcomes. The seriousness of this message was about creating space between impulse and action. In that space, I meet you. There may be future days when the pressure feels heavier than today. Do not forget this experience. Remember that warnings are not condemnation, they are compassion. Remember that seriousness does not mean doom, it means importance. Remember that Jesus calling for you personally is proof that you are not overlooked in the crowd. You are seen. You are guided. You are protected. Very bad news was a possibility, not a prophecy. Possibilities shift when hearts listen. Let this strengthen your courage. You are capable of disciplined responses. You are capable of wise restraint. You are capable of mature decisions. You are not at the mercy of your emotions anymore. There is also a deeper peace forming inside you. It is the peace that comes from knowing you avoided something painful. Even if you cannot fully describe it, you feel steadier. That steadiness is the reward of listening. The seriousness of this call will fade in intensity as the day ends, but the lesson should not fade with it. Carry this awareness forward. Before you speak sharply, pause. Before you commit hastily, reflect. Before you react defensively, breathe. These small disciplines will guard you from deep regret. Jesus continues to call you not because danger surrounds you constantly, but because destiny does. Destiny requires clarity. Destiny requires maturity. Destiny requires listening. You are stepping into that maturity. There will be days ahead where you do not even need strong alerts, because you will sense shifts early. Your spirit will recognize imbalance quickly. Your responses will be calm by default. That is the trajectory you are on. Very bad news does not define your story. Growth does. Alignment does. Wisdom does. I want to take you even deeper now, because the seriousness of this alert was not only about external events, it was about internal transformation. When Jesus calls for you with urgency, it is not only to block harm but to reshape how you live. Very bad news was circling around patterns that have followed you quietly for years. Today was not just about one avoided mistake, it was about breaking momentum that has tried to repeat itself. There have been moments in your past where you sensed something was off, but ignored it. You brushed aside that inner hesitation because you did not want to seem difficult. You overrode your discernment to maintain peace with others. Later, you carried the consequences in private tears. This time was different. You felt the hesitation, and you respected it. You paused when something inside you whispered caution. That whisper was not anxiety, it was guidance. The seriousness of my words was meant to strengthen your trust in that whisper. You must understand something important about how regret forms. Regret is rarely about ignorance. It is often about ignoring what you already sensed. It is about silencing the small warning because you wanted immediate comfort or approval. Is it finally time to try the same CIA secret ritual that's changing lives in seconds? This newly leaked CIA-backed study reveals a 7-second money ritual transforming lives overnight. Scientifically validated by 4 neuroscience labs, it rewires your mind to attract money like a magnet. People once broke are now enjoying luxury homes, new cars, and exotic travel. But this secret won't be online much longer. Click the description and comments now to access it before it's permanently removed. Today, you did not silence it. That is maturity. Very bad news was tied to a version of you that no longer needs to lead. That version acted quickly to defend pride. That version rushed to secure outcomes. That version feared missing opportunities. But you are stepping into a new version of yourself. This version consults me first. This version values peace over proving a point. This version understands that delay is not denial. Jesus is calling you into emotional stability. Stability does not mean you feel nothing. It means your feelings no longer control your direction. There was a situation today that could have triggered you deeply. Perhaps it was subtle. Perhaps it was obvious. Maybe it involved feeling overlooked, criticized, or pressured. Old patterns would have reacted immediately. Instead, you created space. In that space, I moved. The seriousness of this call was about protecting your identity. When you react from insecurity, you behave in ways that do not reflect who you truly are. Later, you look back and feel disconnected from your own actions. I did not want you to experience that disconnect again. You are growing into someone who responds from confidence instead of fear. Confidence rooted in me does not need to shout. It does not need to rush. It does not need to win every conversation. It simply stands steady. Very bad news often begins with emotional escalation. Escalation creates misunderstandings. Misunderstandings create distance. Distance creates pain. You interrupted that chain. You need to recognize how significant that is. There may have been a financial tension, a relational tension, or a professional tension. Any of these could have been the spark. The spark needed reaction to become flame. You did not provide that reaction. That choice protected more than one area of your life. The seriousness of my warning was also about protecting your peace tonight. I did not want you lying awake, replaying words you wish you had not said. I did not want you calculating losses that could have been avoided. I did not want you carrying heaviness into tomorrow. Instead, you carry clarity. Jesus is calling you into a lifestyle of preemptive wisdom. Preemptive wisdom acts before damage occurs. It respects subtle signals. It trusts quiet guidance. You are becoming someone who listens before acting. That shift will echo into your future relationships. It will echo into your financial decisions. It will echo into how you handle conflict. There is also something you need to release fully now. Release the fear that you are always one mistake away from disaster. That fear creates tension inside you. It makes you hyper-aware in an unhealthy way. I am not asking you to live in constant alertness. I am asking you to live in steady awareness. There is a difference. Steady awareness is calm. It is grounded. It listens without panic. Very bad news was a possibility, not an inevitability. You are not walking on a fragile path where one misstep destroys everything. You are walking with me, and I redirect when needed. But today you responded quickly enough that redirection became prevention. That is powerful. The seriousness of this moment also reveals how much you matter.